The Premier League season is close to getting underway, so Barnes and I here are going to debate over where do we think each Premier League club's going to finish in the table. Table for you not soccer following people is just the standings. It's just the other word for they use it for the word for the standings. So we're just going to see where they find out. We're going to debate whether we think some team's going to be a champion of the Premier League, who's going to get relegated, and everything in between. So I got Barnes here next to me. My name is Derek. You're watching Bleacher Brawls, and let's get straight into it. So here we are. We got this table on Tier Maker. We got this tier list, obviously. This is basically going to be our hypothetical table, what we expect. We're going to rank them first, just which of these groups are going to finish: Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League, mid-table, lower mid-table, relegation battle, and relegation. Then once we get them all placed, we'll discuss it a little bit off camera, put them in what actual order we think they're going to finish, and then we'll go straight into it and show you our final rankings. And we're going to do this in alphabetical order. So first up is Arsenal. You want to take the reins on Arsenal, or do you want me to take them?
I'll take Arsenal. I hate Arsenal, but I do respect them as a club. I've actually got them in that Europa Conference League spot. Europa Conference League, yeah, right there.
The Europa League and the Europa Conference League, 5 through 7.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to finish right on the cusp. I think they'll be in that 5th or 6th place spot at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's fair. That's about where they were. I'm pretty sure that's where they were last year. So that makes sense. Next up, I'm going to take the side managed by one of my favorite club's most legendary players, Aston Villa. Aston Villa are very weird for me because last year they're expected to kind of grow and do a lot better and jump towards that make a jump into the mid-table and even potentially push towards European competitions. Didn't happen. I think it's kind of going to stay that way. They finished, I think, 14th last year. I see them finishing around 11, 12. So it's a little bit of a debate for me, but I'm going to stick them in the lower mid-table at 12. And yeah, that's where I'm going with Aston Villa. I don't think that's too debatable. Maybe they'll get pushed up to mid-table as we go on, but I don't think you can put them lower than lower mid-table. All right, so next up, we have a newly promoted side in Bournemouth. We didn't make a rule because we don't want it to be too simple. So we cannot put all 3 promoted teams and just get sent right back down. Could it happen? Yes, but we want to make it a little fun. So we cannot pick all 3 promoted sides to go back down, but we can pick 2. Barnes, is Bournemouth going to be one of those teams to be a yo-yo club?
As much as I don't want to say it, Bournemouth is probably going to go down. As of this recording, July 20th, that's when we're recording this. I'm not sure when you're going to see this, but you're going to see it right before they've made any moves, period. So as their club stands right now, I cannot see them really staying above water.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't done anything in the summer transfer window. So it's rough to put them any higher than relegation, let's be honest. It's just rough because like you want to see them go, and the 2 other promoted sides in Fulham and Nottingham Forest have at least gone out and done something, whereas Bournemouth really haven't done anything. So it makes it rough to put them any higher than relegation. Next up, I have a team that I think is one of the most interesting in Brentford. They surprised people finishing that lower mid-table column last season. So are they going to finish there again this year? Very interesting, but I actually don't think they will get that high. I have them at 15th. Borderline lower mid-table, but I do think they're set to take a step back. Christian Eriksen did help them last year, and obviously he's gone. Now they weren't expecting him to play for them last season, but because all the situations and he couldn't play in Italy. But I feel like they're set to regress a little bit, kind of second season syndrome, I guess, sophomore syndrome, whatever you want to call it. I feel like that's set to happen.
Yeah, I really like Brentford, but I have a feeling they will take a step back unless they can really figure out, a new number 10 role.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very interesting to figure out what they're going to do. But next up is one of the teams who's been the best at spending their money, getting the bang for their buck. However, they have had a couple of guys leave this transfer window, with another one set to leave, and Marc Cucurella, once that deal to Manchester City gets finished. Barnes, where are you going to put Brighton?
Brighton will probably make my initial take right here wrong. They'll probably outperform it. But right now I have them right in that same tier relegation battle with Brentford. I really think losing Basuma and Cucurella is like a huge hit to them defensively. We know that they can gut out these like low scoring, like 1-0, like 2-1 games, but I feel like they're just going to take a small step back defensively.
See, I'm actually kind of going to disagree with you on that. I think they'll fall, but I don't think they're going to fall all the way into a relegation battle. They finished 9th last season in the Premier League. I think they're probably going to be either that, like, 11, they're going to be in around the 11-12 mark, maybe 13th. But we'll keep them in relegation battle for now, and we can always move things around later. Next up is your favorite team, Barnes, Chelsea, but I will take the wheel on this one. I don't think there's much debate. I think Champions League spot makes the most sense for Chelsea. They finished 3rd last year. I figure they'll probably be in that top 3 again this year. Will they be able to push any higher than 3rd? I don't know, honestly. It's going to be tough, but they're probably the favorite to finish in the top 2 if one of Manchester City and Liverpool don't. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up, we got another interesting team here, another mid-table team from past seasons. Crystal Palace. Where are you going to throw them?
So Crystal Palace is always a club I always have a very difficult time ranking. You never really know what you're going to get out of those players. I do think Patrick Vieira has kind of set the tone for the club. I have them literally on that 11 and 12 spot. So I'm going to throw them in the mid-table for right now. We'll probably wind up adjusting this list at the end, but I really feel like they're super sound defensively. I think they found their identity. So I think they're just going to pick up where they left off last year.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they're probably borderline mid-table to lower mid-table. They're a little bit hard to read because they can go out and have a really good game and you make them believe that they're going to be set mid-table team, but then they have a rough game. It's like, are they going to be a mid-table team? So we'll see what kind of form they can sustain throughout the whole entire season. But yeah, I do believe Patrick Vieira can figure it out and get them to be a mid-table team. It's just, can they be a mid-table team, the quality of a mid-table team over the course of a season? That's yet to be seen. Everton are next up. I can take Everton, and they are my club's probably, maybe we'll say the rivals, but definitely the second half of the Merseyside derby, Everton. This is a weird one for me because Everton, they do lose Richarlison, which kind of hurts the front line, but hopefully Dominic Calvert-Lewin can play better this year. They did add Tarkowski, which is really going to help their back line. They're very much of a toss-up, but I can't put them any higher than relegation battle. For right now, maybe I'm regretting my decision of putting Brentford in relegation battle, because I feel like, or maybe also too, I do think Brighton should be higher. So we'll leave it like this for now, and we can change it later, if we need to. Next up, though, Fulham, they just got newly promoted, made a couple nice signings. I really like the João Palhinha signing. So Barnes, is Fulham going to be the one team that we get that's not going to yo-yo? Fulham has been known to be a yo-yo club, going up and down from the Prem and the Championship. Will that continue?
I really think that this year Fulham is going to compete. I think they're going to stay up. I think they're going to be in that relegation battle zone. I think you need to bump Everton up. I don't think that they're, that bad. I think Fulham is good enough to stay in the Prem for the following year. So I'd say they're there, move Everton up, and then let's just keep chugging away.
All right. Next up is Leeds United. Leeds United hurts for me because Leeds are I like Jesse March being a coach. I like the American signings. I actually, more than the American signings, I love the Luis Sinisterra signing. Love that signing from Feyenoord. Love it, love it, love it. But they're rough. They lose Calvin Phillips. Obviously, Tyler Adams is going to help soften the blow of that, as long as Mark Roca. They do lose Rafinha. They don't really have a replacement for Rafinha yet. Obviously, Luis Sinisterra is going to play on the left. Who plays on the right? That's still a massive question. And they don't really have a replacement for that. I don't know where they're going to get the replacement for that. Maybe they want to put Brendan Aronson out there on the right. I'm not crazy over that, though. So it seems not that I don't think they're as bad as a relegation team should be at least, but I think they're just going to have like one of those last day, like fall into relegations, unfortunately, where it's like just like last year where they got it on last day just to stay up. I think this year it might be the opposite way around, unfortunately, which sucks, but it happens. What can you do? 3 teams have to get relegated. That third one's normally that hard spot to figure out. All right. Next up, Leicester City. The underdogs from way back, and it feels like now. I don't think they're gonna get another league title this year. Even though it would be another underdog story. Barnes, Leicester City. Where are we throwing them? Where do we want to put them? And see them changing in what they've done the last few years, or moving up or down?
So right now, they haven't really made any moves as of this recording, but I do think they have a couple key players, and I really see them finishing in that mid-table spot. I have a feeling they'll make a run at some sort of European competition, but I think they'll fall short ultimately. I think they'll be right around that 8 or 9 spot.
Yeah, that's fair. They're like borderline. If one of those teams that we project to be in that top 7 falls off, and struggles, Leicester could easily be one of those teams that kind of sneaks into a Conference League spot. Next up is my favorite club, Liverpool. This one is rough for me because I want to say champions. And I always wonder is there going to be a year where Man City says, forget about the Premier League, we want to win the Champions League? But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Liverpool, I think, can easily win another Champions League. I think they have a better chance of winning a Champions League than Man City. But when it comes to the Prem, I got to put Liverpool right next to Chelsea. Same finishing order as last season. Unfortunately, I don't want to do it, but I feel like Man City, even though they say they're all about the Champions League, they're still hyper-focused on the Premier League because they know if they fail at the Champions League and that they lose the Premier League, it's not looking good for them. So they're going to focus on the Premier League. So at worst case scenario, they can go, yeah, well, we still won the Premier League. All right, next up is a controversial club. Erik ten Hag is now the manager. What's going to happen with Cristiano Ronaldo? Will he stay? There's been rumors about him going to a multitude of clubs from a multitude of leagues. But who knows what's going to happen? Manchester United, they finished way lower than what everyone expected last year. People expected them to even finish as high as second in the league, but they finished 6th last year and barely finished 6th. Barnes, where do you have Manchester United finishing?
So I have them finishing in that 6th place spot again as well. I have a feeling if the rumors are true, if Ronaldo moves, that's obviously a huge piece that's moving. They just need to figure out themselves defensively. I think the new manager will help them do that. But I think ultimately they'll just need a little bit of time to adjust. And I think these other clubs that I think will ultimately finish ahead of them are already have their identity, and they're just going to make United pay for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the big benefactor, though, of having a coach like Erik ten Hag at United is going to be Jadon Sancho. I think he's going to be the big benefactor of it. Played in a system with Dortmund where they pressed and Sancho's going to get to do that system with Ten Hag. Like, if it's a similar system to what he had at Ajax, it's going to be play out from the back and press forward and press from the front. And I think that's going to happen. So next up, obviously, I think by where I place Liverpool, even though I didn't want to place them in second, I kind of have to. I think we know who's going in first. So I'll just get it over. I don't really got to explain it. It's Man City. If I can get them up there, if I can drag them up there. Man City, I think it's obvious. Bringing in Haaland's huge. I actually think even more underrated, and people are forgetting Julian Alvarez. They bought him in January. They kept him on loan in South America, and now he's coming over. That's another big signing. Calvin Phillips, big signing. Marc Cucurella, big signing. You are losing a couple pieces in Sterling and Jesus, but maybe a little tweak to the system from Pep Guardiola. Now that's the big question. Well, I think they will have to undergo a little bit of system change. So will that slow them down at the start? Maybe, but they do have a somewhat easy schedule at the start. So we'll see how it plays out. But as of right now, I don't think you can really remove them from the champion spot. Next up, very interesting here. Backed by their billionaires. Their billions and billions and billionaire owner, Newcastle United. They got Saudi Arabia behind them. Bunch of money behind them. Where are Newcastle United going to finish?
Uh, Obviously, they have the new money aspect in their pockets, but right now, as of this recording, I just can't see them getting over the hump. I think Leicester's better than them. I think Crystal Palace is better than them. I do think that they're above Aston Villa, but barely. So right now, I have them in that mid-table spot, like right on that 11. Would I be surprised if Villa passed them? No. Would I be surprised if they finished ahead of Villa? Absolutely not really either. So right on that cusp, they could go either way.
So next up, I'm going to just take Nottingham Forest. I'm so sorry, Nottingham Forest fans, but I know I've made some moves. I like some moves you've made. I like the Omar Richards move. As a Liverpool fan, Nico Williams is very good. I like that move, like the other moves they've made. I just don't think it's going to be enough, let's be honest. I do think they might do better than Bournemouth, so hey, that's something. I just don't think it's going to be enough. It's rough for them. But it happens. 3 teams got to get relegated. I think they are, unfortunately for them, going to be one of the 3. Next up is a very interesting club. You could argue Liverpool's feeder club, Southampton, where Liverpool get all their best players from. Barnes, where's Southampton going to end up in this?
Southampton, man, they are a weird and funky team. They could easily finish mid-table, but I don't think they will. I've actually got them in that lower mid-table spot, rounding out that little section of the tier list.
All right. So we got 3 teams left, and there's 3 spots left: Champions League spot, Europa and Europa Conference League spots, and the one mid-table spot. It's gonna be very interesting. Next up is Tottenham, and this might be a shock, because I believe a team that we already have put in the 5 through 7 spots will be a Champions League team. So I'm gonna put Tottenham in this 5 through 7 spot. And I'm gonna say the argument is, I think Arsenal are gonna be a Champions League team this season.
I could see it. I could see them nabbing that 4th place. I actually have Spurs in that 4th place spot right now, but I could easily see either of one of those London clubs getting that last Champions League spot.
And we'll get into that heated debate later. We'll finish out these last 2 clubs. West Ham, I'm guessing you're probably going to put them 5 through 7, I'm guessing, and then we'll battle Arsenal, Tottenham in a second. Right. All right. So I'll just put West Ham here, and we'll battle over Tottenham and Arsenal in a second. And then I'll close out with Wolves, obviously. I think mid-table, that's fair. Wolves are like the epitome of a mid-table team. They're not going to be relegated. They're also not going to do anything crazy, win the league, nothing like that. They're just the epitome of a mid-table team.
Absolutely.
Not too good, not too bad, just literally perfectly mid-table. Now, Arsenal and Tottenham. Here's my argument for Arsenal. And not arguments against Tottenham, but definitely Arsenal. Bringing in Jesus kind of gives them what they need through the middle. And their young players are only going to get better. And you get Ramsdale at the back. He's only going to get better. They've made a couple key signings. Saka is only going to get better, and he's signing a contract extension. Emil Smith-Rowe is only going to get better. Martinelli. You can go through the whole team. Tomiyasu is one of the best young right backs in the league. I personally think that just because I don't see Tottenham getting much better than last year, and Arsenal was in that 4th spot until the end of the season, I have them in 4th. What's your argument for Tottenham? Because you can convince me to put Tottenham up there.
Here we go. Here it is. Spurs. Antonio Conte. He knows how to win. What's Arteta done? What has Arteta done? Boom. So it starts with the manager. All right. Unlike most sports, the manager's out there barking orders out there. So here's the next step. They have 2 of the best goal scorers in the league. Kane, Son. Boom. They bring in Longley to help secure up that back line. They bring in Richarlison to help play off the wing. They bring in Perisic to play off the wing. You bring in Basuma to help lock down the middle of that field. It's going to help them out immensely in transition. I really think that Basuma is going to be one of the key factors for this new Antonio Conte team. I really think that they're great in transition, which is Conte's system. Lock down the middle of the field, hit him in transition. You're counting on Arsenal. You're counting on all these guys getting better. These guys are ready to do it now. Spurs, they got to do it this year. I think they're going to get a Champions League spot. That's why I think they're going to just edge out Arsenal. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be 1 or 2 points. That'll be the difference. But I think they're going to edge out that fourth place spot.
Now I do have to ask you, how many games do you think Harry Kane's going to play this year?
Enough.
In a Tottenham shirt. In a Tottenham shirt.
In a Tottenham shirt. He'll play enough. I think he gets through the summer window. I think he still stays in a white shirt for the Spurs.
You don't think Bayern tries to scoop him up?
It's all going to depend on Lewandowski. So
he's already at Barca, so.
So here's the thing: is Munich, are they going to stick with Mane, or are they going to try and get Kane? Kane, are you going to switch leagues? You know, you're also playing for your World Cup spot, right?
Well, sort of, not really. I mean, Gareth Southgate.
Listen.
Well, he's going to pick him regardless. If Gareth Southgate can pick Harry Maguire, he's going to pick Harry Kane. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and he's a fool. He should be fired.
I hope he doesn't get fired.
Harry Kane does nothing for the England shirt. But he
is their captain.
He always gets on the team because he has a stellar year in the Premier League.
And he's their captain.
Yeah, they could change. The only reason he's the captain is because of Southgate, but we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about how Spurs are going to edge out Arsenal into that fourth place spot.
I'll give it to you. Even though we will get into some more arguments in a little second right here. Because I think we might need to move a couple things around. I think we need to flip Brighton up with one of Southampton or Everton. That's what I'm thinking.
You can knock down Southampton.
That's what I'm thinking. And then that's what I'm thinking. And then my only question is, do we see any of these top 7 not making it?
No.
All right.
There's no way those 7, like, if they would need massive injuries to just plague them.
All right. So that's fine then. The top 7 set. We'll figure out what order everything's going to be in. After that, we'll talk about that off camera. We'll get the order done, and we will go and figure it out. Obviously, and try and come back to you guys once we're done. All right. We have our whole rankings here, and this is in order of 1 to 20. We put it in order. Manchester City, we have champions. Unfortunately, I think both of us don't really want to see that happen. But I mean, we can't really put anyone else there, unfortunately. I'd love to put Liverpool. I think Barnes would love to put Chelsea. Just can't, unfortunately. I think any fan of their team would like to put their team there, but we're trying to be realistic. So unfortunately, Man City and all their money get to go there. Liverpool second, Chelsea third, Tottenham fourth. It's unfortunate. This is actually, let's just say top 7 is literally the same as last year. So now thinking about it, maybe we won't have the same exact top 7 as last year. But who knows? Leicester 8th, Palace 9th, Newcastle 10th, and Wolves 11th. Brighton 12th, Villa 13th, Everton 14th, Brentford 15th, Southampton 16th, Fulham 17th. Then it's Leeds, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest getting relegated. And Bournemouth continues the yo-yo club status. Fulham gets away from it. Forest go straight back down to the championship as well. And Leeds, after 2 seasons in the Prem, or no, 3 seasons in the Prem, will finally get sent down based on our predictions. We happy with this, Barnes?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right. Still wish I could put Arsenal in 4th, so it's a little bit different than last year's, but we're cool with that. But that's going to wrap this one up. Thanks for checking out this Premier League table prediction. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post. Make sure to check out the description, all the Bleacher Brawls links, the website, the podcast, the Instagram, and the Twitter, plus all the cruise stories, and maybe even some other stuff. If I remember to put the stuff down there that I want to put down there, all that stuff will be down as well. Make sure to stay tuned to our Twitter. We're doing Twitter Spaces every single day. For the most, at least Barnes is for his singles. They are down there. Go check it. His Twitter obviously will be down there as the whole cruise will. So check out his Twitter. He's doing singles every single morning, and maybe a couple other of our crew will as well. And we do a lot of Twitter Spaces during baseball games, or just not during baseball games. Just come join. You want to ask any questions, baseball or just anything else? ask us, ask the crew, ask me and Barnes, especially if they're non-baseball, and we'll try and answer them to the best of our ability. That's going to wrap it up for Barnes. I'm Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleach Brawls, and we'll see you next time.